Kalle Sauerland, the promoter of Heavyweight Contender and two-time European Heavyweight title holder and current European Heavyweight Heavyweight champion, Kubrat Pulev, has said that a fight between Pulev and Anthony Joshua could take place this year or in 2017. I'm going to quote Kalle Sauerland directly. He says, "I think it's a fight that will happen whether we agree to a voluntary or not. Whether we agree now to a voluntary or not. Pulev is in the number 2 position after Parker, his mandatory. The next mandatory will likely be Pulev in 2017. So whether the fight happens now or next year, the fight will happen. I think it's a great fight. Obviously 2 big guys. Joshua has made a storming entrance to the professional ranks, but I think he is still learning on the job, which you can see from his last opponent. Pulev is a big step up and it's a good fight. It's a real 50-50 if you ask me. Pulev isn't a one-punch fighter, but he's knocked out bigger guys than Joshua. If you look at Dimitrenko and Ustinov, for example, they are big guys and he stopped them. It's a real fight, a live fight. Let's see if they want to do it now or whether they want to wait until next year." So those are the words of Kalle Sauerland, the promoter of current European Heavyweight Champion Kubrat Pulev. I am interested in this fight. And I'm interested in the whole situation surrounding who's going to be Joshua's next opponent, because there's only 3 guys being talked about now. And this is an encouraging sign. 3 guys being talked about by Eddie Hearn. And those guys are Kubrat Pulev, Bermane Stiverne, and his mandatory Joseph Parker. One of those guys is likely to be Joshua's next opponent this year. That's interesting. That's encouraging, because all 3 of those guys would be a step up from Joshua's last few opponents. In fact, you could say that either 3 of those guys would be the best fighter that Joshua has faced so far as a professional, although I'm sure Dillian Whyte might dispute that. And some people might agree with him, but we don't know how good Dillian Whyte is yet. We need to see how his career unfolds moving forward. And then we can look back and say, okay, maybe Dillian Whyte was better than a Pulev or a Stiverne or whatever. So, that all remains to be seen. But as it is right now, I'm sure there are going to be perhaps a majority of people who are saying that Pulev, Stiverne, or Parker would be the best opponents that Joshua has faced so far in his career. And if it's going to be one of those guys next, then for me personally, I'm intrigued. I want to see who it's going to be. Let me know who you would like Anthony Joshua to fight next. Would you like it to be Pulev next in his very next fight, or Stiverne, or Parker? Drop it all in the comment section below. And how would he do against any of those guys? That's what I'd really like to see you guys tell me about. How do you see a fight going against Parker? How would that fight play out? How would a fight go against Stiverne? How would that play out? How would a fight go against Pulev? How would that play out? In terms of the result, but also what would happen in the fight. Maybe you think a certain guy would start well and then fade late, or a certain guy would get blasted out, or this or that would happen, or this person would get outboxed. I'm really interested for you guys to go into some detail, so it will give me some food for thought, because when I'm analyzing these fights, I see it a certain way in my mind's eye, but when I hear a different opinion, it can get me considering things which I hadn't previously considered. So when I say leave your comments, I really do want to read your comments, people. I might not always reply because, look, I get hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of comments a week. Sometimes it literally is thousands of comments a week I get. Sometimes hundreds, depends on how busy it is and how many videos are uploaded. So obviously it's impossible. As busy as I am anyway, on top of that doing a YouTube channel and having these hundreds of thousands of comments, it's impossible to reply to most people. So I try and address what I see in the comments in my subsequent videos. That's what I try and do, because it's just impossible to sit down and reply to even a fraction of the comments I get. So please don't take it personally when I'm not replying to some of you guys. Okay, I will try and address it in subsequent videos, so you'll know that I'm talking about. Sometimes I'll mention your YouTube name if I'm very familiar with it, or if I can't remember it, I'll just talk about the general topic that you raised, and hopefully you know I was referring to the comment that you left. So yeah, let me know how you feel about everything I talked about in this video, people. I'm very, very interested on your opinions about this particularly. All right. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.